I want to be remembered as a hard worker, you know, and also as a leader, trying to lead by example, and always putting in the extra work when nobody else does.
For Antoine Jennings Jr., the drive to work has been a part of who he is since the very beginning. And in terms of beginnings, as a founding member, nobody has more crossover experience and knows the beginning more than number 3.
I've seen crossover grow and change from being from tutoring at Community Church of Vero Beach and going to GYAC, once a week, to now having, their own building and tutoring 4 or 5 days out of the week, and being able to have access in the gym 4 or 5 days out of the week. So it's definitely grown, even in the community as well.
But while there's no denying his dedication to the work it takes to be successful, for Jennings, it wasn't as if he'd have it any other way.
I love basketball more than anything. That's definitely my favorite thing to do, as basketball is just like my go-to place to get away from the world. And what's ever happening, I can just go play basketball and I'm fine the rest of the day.
Though basketball was a labor of love since early childhood, Jennings is quick to point out that his work ethic was a family expectation on and off the court.
I would say my family drives me, and just seeing them, work so hard and try to make my future as best as possible. So that, I would say, my family drives me.
To watch Jennings now, it's easy to conclude that the game comes easy. And yet, there was a time when it seemed the game he loved so much was going away forever.
In my 8th grade year, I was playing basketball, and then all of a sudden I just started getting sharp pains in my stomach and then pains in my knees and my fingers, pretty much all over my body. And so I was forced to stop playing basketball after like my 3rd game during my 8th grade basketball season. And that was probably when I first felt like I wouldn't be able to play basketball anymore. It started December, and then I found out what was going on, I would say probably about March or April. I never brought it up because I didn't want any excuses, or I didn't want people to know, be in my business. So I never talked about it. I was extremely frustrated, This is my last year in middle school. I was starting now, getting most of the playing time, and then for it to be cut short that way, it really hurt. It was definitely a hard pill to swallow, watching everybody else play, being, one of the better players, at my school or in crossover, and then watching everybody else play and get better, and me not being the same person I was. At first, I didn't want to be at the gym at all. I didn't want nobody to see what I was going through, and I didn't want to watch other people play the game that I love. So I would stay home most of the time.
While Jennings continued to excel in the classroom, there was a basketball-shaped hole in his heart and in his life. Not knowing what the future held, Jennings kept moving forward, driven by the same 2 things that have always driven him: his love for basketball and his family.
My dad definitely pushed me to get back out there, even when I didn't want to, because I was limited in what I could do. So we just shot free throws and did dribbling drills sitting down most of the practice.
After weeks of work and months of pain and confusion, number 3 finally resumed his place where he belonged, back on the court.
I was finally 100% healthy and I was ready to go, but I had a lot of work to do because I wasn't the same player I once was. I took 2 years off and I had a lot of catching up to do. It meant the world to me, I love basketball, and so once I was finally free and healthy to get back on the court, it was a very happy moment.
To say his return to the court was a success is to put it lightly. This past season, the Pirates went 12-6 and were district champions for the first time in 22 years. It had its share of individual successes for Jennings as well, as he averaged over 18 points, 6 rebounds, and nearly 3 steals a game. And of course, along with success comes recognition.
I'm most proud of being a 2A basketball player of the year in Florida. And I think that's my biggest accomplishment.
And yet, Crossover's beloved captain has never forgotten where he's come from.
I would say crossover means, same as basketball, it means the world to me. It has provided me and given me many opportunities that I never would have without it. I've built many friendships and relationships with everybody. I've been able to go outside of the state of Florida, go to basketball camps, meet many people that I would never met if it wasn't for crossover. So crossover means the world to me. I'm most thankful for my family. They've done everything they can to get me to this position, whether it be basketball, academics, or even my health. So I would say my family, I'm definitely most thankful for.
He hasn't forgotten where he's come from. We can't wait to see where he's going next.